on school readiness. So really focusing on making sure that we are ready for the start of the school year. At the end, you can go ahead to the next slide. Ooh.
We have about 10
So
days.
some important upcoming dates include the first day back to faculty is on Monday,
Do you know if this is
August
the link
25th.
to it?
Tuesday,
Wait, I'll do it
September
there.
2nd will be the first day that we welcome
Yes,
students back
okay,
for
'cause it's in
grades
here.
1
Okay.
through 6.
Okay.
And
It
then we
matches
will also
that.
have
Okay.
our orientation
All right,
for
good.
pre-kindergarten families and kindergarten families. And then we will welcome our youngest students back on the 3rd. So looking forward to that. A little bit about our current levels of enrollment. We have Kelly sitting at 223 students and Turner at 215. So that is as of today. The asterisks mean that there are students that have packets out, but we're still waiting on, whether it's documents or some paperwork for them to be completed and fully enrolled. So we have to have our pre-K number at 85 to start the year in order to be in compliance with our grant. So
kids.
Mhm.
We need more kids.
We do.
So we've increased some advertising efforts.
On some
WAMO should have started yesterday advertising for our pre-K program. We have about 20 slots completely open. Some of the slots that are not indicated on this spreadsheet is because we're still waiting for documentation.
Okay.
And so Diaja and Kim Harris is constantly reaching out saying, we want you to be here for the start of the year, but you need X, Y, and Z. And like I said, increased advertising because we have about 20 solid slots still available. And the goal is obviously the first day we want them there, but by compliance, we need to be fully enrolled by October 1st. With us not starting until September 2nd, as you can see, our numbers were higher. Last year, we really get an influx of people registering literally like the week the teachers are back. And even like the first day of school when they see school buses going.
So, just very personally, I think I'm invested in like the community being clear about the changes that are happening. He was our new superintendent. So in addition to the WAMO ad, do you think Lydia could possibly do like a quick, 15-second little blurb with you? Like introducing yourself and then doing some kind of like social media sponsored ad, because that should also be much cheaper than that WAMO ad, because I know how their prices run. But just from a personal, like as a millennial parent and I'm scrolling, I'm getting ads in my stories. So like when I'm just watching, one of the sponsored ads might be for a charter school.
Ads.
Yeah, and then if you did like a reel or something, I could go on Facebook, district Facebook and Instagram account to just kind of like show your face and like give them that Dr. Arger and energy.
Okay, I can do that.
I think that could be helpful. Yeah. And then we can, those of us who are on social, I'm sure will share and like.
Okay.
And especially with our pre-K program being open to kids that don't even live in Wilkinsburg too, so that can get some reach. And she should be able to target like zip codes and stuff like that.
Yeah, with other schools around us starting this week or next week, there's going to be kids that might be in Woodland Hills that didn't get a slot, and that could,
Do we know if the Hosanna House has slots?
They started yesterday.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if they're full. I need to reach out to them.
Do they count in our numbers?
They count in our full grant,
Okay.
but not in the 85.
Got it. Okay.
So again, like with these enrollment numbers, the comparison in terms of the date is really apples to oranges because of the timeline. So we're expecting that more kids will enroll, but I just wanted to give the board an idea of where we were this time last year and where we're sitting now. Okay, so a little bit about our summer administrative team preparations. We kind of talked about what our summer retreat looks like, but these are really the things that we've been focusing on as an administrative team. this year, starting with that mission and vision alignment, making sure that we all have shared values, beliefs, and commitments to really guide the work that we're doing, and always coming back to those in decision making as well. And then secondly, really focusing on building systems so that when teachers come back, when students come back, we have systems in place that are very clear and explicit and support teaching, learning, in the learning environment. And so that focused really on, and I'll talk about this a little bit later, building that MTSS framework, thinking about PBIS, attendance, we have a new attendance handbook, integrating SEL and discipline, and really making sure that for social emotional learning, we have a tier 1 option available for our teachers to actually give students instruction before we're expecting them to know certain skills. For instruction, we focused a lot on mapping out those instructional blocks, planning professional development, aligning what our non-negotiables are for instruction in the classrooms, and then starting to think about what resources and programs that we have available for faculty and staff and how best to utilize those. Additionally, we have collaborative goal setting that we've been focusing on, so all the department leaders turned in goals that we're going to be tweaking and working towards throughout the course of the school year. But again, those all align to my priorities and my goals for the district, so that everybody is working towards the same thing. We focused on also creating and aligning our leadership practices, so establishing team norms, and really what the work of a leader in the Wilkinsburg School District looks like. We're working on building out those instructional rounds, and really redefining what our instructional leadership team, including faculty, look like as well. So that's something I'm looking at Summer, because that's something that she's working on right now as well. Strategic planning, I talked a little bit about this in my most recent board update, but we had 57 families, faculty, staff respond to our survey and identified 3 top priorities. So Summer and I will be finalizing that draft this week for presentation to the board next week. And then in the month that it has to sit, we're going to do some focus groups with families, faculty, students, just to make sure we can get some feedback from folks in that time that it has to sit. And then also having time for reflection and renewal, focus on creating a space for team building, making sure that our team is working well together, opportunities for self-reflection, which is a really important part of any leader's opportunity for growth. For communications readiness, you probably have seen some of these changes coming out already. We will have monthly district emails to families and faculty, the first edition of which will be shared out tomorrow evening. We're working on streamlining communications on social media to focus really on highlighting what's happening in the district. That is a really important tool, as you were just talking about. And so making sure that what we are presenting is really reflective of what's happening in our classrooms and in our schools. And so Lydia is working on some ways to still share information from community partners so that families can have access to all the wonderful things that are happening in the community, but not necessarily on our social media account. So there will be some of that in our newsletter as well. She's also been working on sharing the back to school batch flyer widely. So the library, the Wilkinsburg Sun, and Metro Health have been sharing that with their networks, and there is a communications audit underway. So communications got a lot going on there. Curriculum and instruction readiness as well. This is, I think, the only one that has 2 slides. So we have, in terms of teacher induction, 1 teacher in year 1 of that program, and then 5 teachers in year 2. In terms of all of our consumable materials, they have been ordered and received, so our teachers will have access to those when they return next week. Focus on that what I need time. We will have 2 academic interventionists in each building to support those tier 3 interventions taking place. And then in addition to that, all students will continue to participate in the school-wide math intervention, which is spring math. In terms of the master schedule, we have really sought to maximize instructional time. That has ended with several iterations of staffing. So as we were really thinking about how many minutes children had access to ELA, to math, and making sure that those minutes aligned with best practice, what research says is most important, that allowed us to, or made it necessary to tweak the way some faculty and staff supported. So, all of the people that we have talked to when we've explained the changes to them have really been wonderful in understanding. So we're really thankful to those faculty members for their flexibility and commitment to the district. Because two people got phone calls today and they were like, listen, whatever you want to do, I'm all in. I have an email right now from the teachers. So really appreciate those folks and just their heart of service to the district. I think is really, really powerful. So we're excited about that, especially the 5th and 6th grade change. I'm going to give them a little bit of a shout out. So we have 2 teachers that are actually going to be teaching 5th and 6th grade. So they will be teaching 5th and 6th grade science and 5th and 6th grade ELA. In order for us to make sure that the children had enough minutes, we really had to combine that team. So it's also really nice because it's starting to look like a middle school team. So that's an interesting, side effect of us really looking to maximize our instructional time.
Some flag over there? I didn't know it was a flag. I just knew it
There's a
was.
couple of bugs in here. I don't know if it's from the deliveries, that people in and out, but I have to get some of that yellow tape. In terms of our ELA pilot programs, that is something that we are looking to have for identification at the end of the school year, a resource to purchase because our Journeys program is, aging out. So previous to me coming on, the instructional team had picked 3 different programs, 2 of which are similar. So I asked Summer to just shave one of those out, then we're going to focus on one or the other, which are really 2 different instructional methodologies and beliefs about instruction. So whichever one we pick will really kind of shift the ways in which we're teaching. So it doesn't make sense to do 2 programs, pilot them that are relatively the same. Let's just pick the best one out of the 2 and then move forward. So that committee was formed in May, and Summer will be meeting with them in September to continue on with the pilot. And she's mapping out what the pilot will look like, starting with the end in mind, with a recommendation for the board in April. Second page of curriculum instruction readiness is focused on NWEA map. And again, this was something that was in my board update for this weekend. But, really thinking about what type of data we need from our intermediate students. And Acadian data is great when you're looking at those early learning skills, but it doesn't really get as deep as some other instructional assessments get. And so NWEA map is something that I have used across school districts for, I think, maybe 15 years at this point, and I find it to be really, really thorough. It's a really great predictor of PSSAs, and it gives us a lot of information about what students need specifically. So Summer and I met with NWEA today. We're planning on meeting with them again on Friday. So hopefully if we decide that this is the way we want the district to go, it would be focused on really students in grades 3 through 6. Students in kindergarten through 2nd grade would still really have the Acadians as their benchmark measure. But then students who are in grades 3 through 6 who maybe need progress monitoring would have access to that assessment as well. MAP is an adaptive test, which is also one of its strongest features. So as students are getting questions correct, the questions get harder. As they're getting them incorrect, the questions get easier. So it really gets a sense of what children know and what they're capable of. And so it also produces something that's called a learning continuum. and it gives you as a teacher or a principal a report of all of the children in your school or your classroom, where they're leveled, and then what that number means. So in terms of math instruction, here's where they need to be. Here's what they need. We need to teach them to get them to the next grade level. So again, it'll help really when we're thinking about responsive instruction and what we want our teachers to be doing and to know about what our children know. So it's more than just, a 1 minute snapshot. Sometimes for children, when they take NWA math, I'll speak to my daughter, for example, she's taken it over 3 days and it's taken, 120 minutes. So it really is a good indicator of what kids know.
Yes, what the acronym stands for.
Yeah, it's, so it's Northwestern Education Association, I believe. And then the MAP is a measure of academic
Oh,
progress.
thanks.
Absolutely.
Familiar.
Yeah.
I just added that because it was linked in the report, the website. I was looking at the website.
Oh, no, it sounds great.
Yeah.
It sounds
And her
great.
superintendent report for a weekend.
Yeah.
She's into it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to look. I did read that, but I didn't.
Yeah, there was
It's
a
a lot.
couple links.
There was a lot.
Yeah, it was.
There was a lot in it. Yeah, sometimes the NWA part leaves me, but the MAP is measure of academic. For facilities readiness, the Kelly project updates, you'll hear a little bit later on from Bill. Bill, if you want to jump in now, you can.
It's whatever you want.
Okay. But what I have is just that the renovation is still underway and completion dates are being updated and are pending. They're evolving. The kitchen flooring was laid yesterday, and we will use the swarm approach at Kelly just like we did at Turner this school year. So in terms of like other recent projects that have occurred over the summer from the facilities end, they did do the swarm approach, so all of the custodians were at Turner and really focused on turning that building over. They're working on finishing touches right now, so mulch and flower beds.
So rather than splitting up the forces at both buildings, swarm is everyone goes,
Yeah,
is
all in.
dedicated, finish that building, go to the next
Exactly.
building.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, it works a little bit better right now because the Kelly folks didn't really have a whole lot of options. But, in the future, that will be up to Harry if he chooses to have his team deployed that way. But I think in this instance, it just only makes sense because it would be impossible for the Kelly team to be able to do that on their own. So that'll mean that, the folks at Turner, faculty and staff there will have to be a little bit more understanding in terms of things being moved around because the Turner custodial team will be over at Kelly helping out. So we'll have to work on that. I might have to get some tennis shoes that day. But they've done a lot of work, including most recently pressure washing the building. Did you want to jump in there, Bill?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So, I know everybody's nervous. Particularly Jack. But I will tell you, it will be finished. And, it was a hard afternoon. There were, fortunately, everybody was gathered. Penn and their key subcontractor, Higley, along with the equipment installer for the kitchen. I will tell you, I think they heard the lesson or the message loud and clear that they've got to be done. I think there's a lot of pride on the line with them, and they will deliver. Like any of these projects, when you're coming down to the last 2 weeks, it looks chaotic and it looks like it's an impossible task. But there is a very clear pathway to finish. I'm pushing them for Monday. I learned today that the teachers are actually coming in on Thursday. Those couple extra days are going to be huge into next week. The kitchen will finish on, final inspection will be next Wednesday. We did get authorization to move in food product into the freezer on Monday. Training is scheduled for Thursday and Friday in the kitchen. So there is a clear path. Equipment was already being moved into the rooms where the flooring was finished. There's a couple outlying rooms that are less urgent that the flooring will finish tomorrow. But the majority of the kitchen flooring is down. All of the equipment is on site except for one piece, and that is a vent that's coming next Tuesday to be installed. That was the delay in the inspection, but the inspection will happen on Wednesday. And again, I'm confident that that will be completed. The balance of that lower floor that includes the Spanish and sensory room, the music room, there's a couple supporting rooms. Again, the majority of the work rests with finishing out some mechanical, it's cleaning, and then flooring goes down. And again, I'm pushing them to finish that by Monday. I think it's achievable by Monday, but certainly by Thursday. In that interim period between Monday and Thursday when the teachers arrive, we've got to work out a solution for Harry to start moving in furnishings and the kitchen equipment and help him get prepared to occupy the lower floor. When you go up to the gymnasium floor, the two critical rooms there is the steam room and the library. I don't think they'll be ready next Monday. Into next week, they will be. I'm pushing them to complete the library first. I know there's a lot of material that's got to get moved into the library and prep for the second. The site asphalt will be done on Friday. They did a lot of prep today with the fabric and beginning to stone. Confident that'll be done. Sidewalks will be finished by Monday. So there will be parking on the upper lot by early next week. They started dressing up the front of the building where the addition is. Most of that masonry work is reaching its completion. So the front end of this building is going to look a lot more presentable with the asphalt down, sidewalks, and access at least partially into the new canopy. So I know you're nervous, but I'm at this point on every project. We will finish it, and you will be proud of the product. What remains includes that nurse's wing. It includes the addition. It includes the two playgrounds. It will include punch list, the dumpster pad, switch gear. All of that will evolve into September and October. One other thing that will be ready for the second will be that upper playground and a fenced-in area to come off of the one door off the gymnasium level. So the kids will have an outdoor space on the second, which will be fenced and safe and cleaned and new mulch laid. So at least they have some outdoor space for activity. So at this point, again, I know you're nervous. You just need to have confidence we're going to do this.
I think we are confident that it will be completed. I think for us as a board, we want to be assured that the communication and the accountability are there, right? So is this team communicating well with our new administrator? Is that being communicated? Are they hearing what the new administration is saying to them about what the needs are? And then the accountability piece, right? So when they say that something's going to be done and then it's not done, are they communicating in advance that it's not going to be done, or is that stuff that we're finding out because we're following up to see whether or not it's done? You know what I mean? So I think those are the areas.
So some of
that
we've been given dates, to be honest with you. And we saw it Sunday. Mike got a date. I saw the email actually that he was communicated to 10 from Hidley. It said it will be done for Monday.
Right.
That came in Sunday night. And at 11 o'clock Monday morning, it was like, oh, a complete change.
Right.
And it does impact credibility for sure. And that message was communicated very loud and clear today. Having said that, the stuff that needs to get completed doesn't evolve around material delivery. All the materials on site. It's a labor issue. It's a manpower issue, right? It's a sequencing issue, which again, I'm confident that under both of those, that umbrella of labor and sequencing, Pam is an expert in delivery. Where it starts to get sideways, is it material that we're getting BS around delivery.
I think that material, but also, when it comes to things like, home mediation and that kind of thing, we're understanding of when that comes up. We've all been involved in home renovation. We know when you open a wall, surprises happen, right? So just, again, that's where I come back to communication and accountability. If we're clear on our communications, if we're making sure that the administration is being communicated with in a timely way, and when the administration needs to be accountable, that we're not getting pushback on that. Like the administration is communicating these things to them because, this is our reputation too.
Sure.
This is the Wilkinsburg School District reputation. So if we're not able to plan for when things do go sideways in a timely manner, because we're not getting the communication that we need to do that planning, then that impacts our reputation. Because then we're having to go back to families and say, what we said 2 days ago is no longer the case. So that's where we're at.
And that was something that I asked earlier when we were together, was that in addition to like whatever updates and timelines we have, that we're also informing our administrators when they're meeting with families. I mean, I think I said this to Bill when I picked up last school year. We've got families that do construction. So when people are walking into the building and they do construction, they might look at us like, what's going on? And making sure that our administrators have the information needed to advise families what they should be expecting and why the current status.
And if that means more direct communication between you, Bill, and Dr. Ardinger, or whatever that means, like more direct communication, if that's necessary, more regular communication, hourly reports, the daily report, whatever it needs to be done. Like I said, it's not so much that we have high anxiety, it's just more that we haven't seen the accountability piece, the follow through, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to we understand missing deadlines, it happens, but communicating that in a timely way, building that relationship building so that we all can make the plans that we need to make to get our reputation, lined up there.
You will see that I did ask for a daily update of the tasks, and I think it is a good roadmap over the next 10 days for completion. It will give us a chance, but again, we got to be cautious on when you miss something. They also have some wiggle room. They maneuver things around. The key is they're going to be done by mid next week to receive the teachers, and the second when you receive gets back.
Because teachers are coming back to set up their rooms.
Understood. And we're going to get them.
Yeah.
Hard on all of those rooms being finished
Did you tell
and
them
clean.
about the Thursday, or did you?
I never said anything.
Okay.
I'm telling them still, they've got to hit Monday.
Yeah,
But Monday gives me some slack to maneuver some things around.
Yeah. Because Thursday's not even Thursday, it's really Tuesday, right? Because the things that need to be set up, the pre-set up for the teachers to come in so that they can take it on themselves to set up their rooms,
Yeah.
right?
And it's given Harry enough time
Yes, exactly.
to maneuver.
So really our wiggle room is Tuesday.
Well, I'm
Not
still
really
pushing
Thursday.
Monday.
Yeah.
But I'm sharing with you, the corridors, we've talked about doing that on off hours. Ideally, it would be better off, in some cases, doing it during the daylight hours. It would be more efficient, but we'll walk through that. I assure you we'll get this finished.
So in tomorrow's meeting, we can talk more about when teachers have access to which things. And also, when I was leaving today, I said to Mike that I was going to create a draft communication with lots of families And then I wanted him to review it for accuracy about the phases,
Sure.
what they could expect when they return in a couple of weeks. And and like I shared, then my concern would be just putting my name on something and then relying on their credibility, with my name.
Yep.
So again, we can talk more about that tomorrow, but I just wanted to make sure that they were not aware of the flexibility with us having in-service at turnaround Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because I think that 25th needs to be a firm date for, like all of these boxes in here, this all has to go over
Right.
to Kelly. Harry has to take all of that stuff that's in the gym, all of those boxes, all of those furniture, all of that has to be placed.
So just before the meeting here, I emailed Mike and Harry to sit down to understand logistically what material has to go where and what room it goes to. So Harry has a day-by-day completion of those rooms. And if he can get any of them earlier than next Monday, we should free them up for him. So,
And I think to your point earlier today, the cleanliness is also going to be the issue, right? Because Harry's not going to want to drop off a bunch of teachers' belongings if the room is not cleaned.
Right.
So I think that they also need to address that concern as well.
Monday or Sunday night. Saturday into Sunday night, there'll be a thorough cleaning.
And then will they report that they completed that cleaning? Because that's what I mean about accountability too. Like, or will it take us having to go
No, that's
through
what
it?
we explicitly asked them
Right.
today
Okay.
in the meeting. Like, you give us a daily schedule. We said daily, Bill said hourly. So that schedule and then whatever's done or not done, we can communicate that same day.
Sounds good.
But so if they don't update you. But I imagine Bill will be
Do
real
our best.
sticker on them.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
They probably were happy when I walked in
If
today.
you want to stick around, because we'll get to discussion items, just specific discussion items about this later on our agenda, but you're also free. It's up to you, whatever.
I would
Discussion
appreciate if
items-
you stayed around.
Yeah.
But the Flora,
Laura Teeter is on there.
Laura Peters, 5,000.
the CUC,
The CEC is on there as well. Yeah.
So you want me to stick
That's all I was
around?
wondering, do we?
I'm happy to.
yeah, because I'm gonna do my presentation.
Yeah, you are,
We'll
that's
finish the
right.
presentation, we'll do some all committee reports, we don't have any, and then,
Yeah, that's not that much, okay. All right, so finance and operation. It's okay, it's all right, it's all right. So Beth Ann gave a really comprehensive review during today's finance committee meeting. She does an amazing job, so we are very thankful and blessed to have her. Mr. Lamb and Mr. Denner will have a presentation prepared for the board for the September 25th finance meeting. So please be there because that's regarding projections for the next several years. If you can attend that, please do.
Is that on the calendar already?
Finance should be on the calendar. If you don't have, we're gonna need to review our board calendar and make sure that every board member has all of the committee meetings and all of the
Okay.
board meetings. Because I did see that I didn't have finance. So we're gonna need to make sure that,
You're on the invite, so it might be one of those, if you didn't accept it through your email, it's not on your phone calendar, because you're here. And the
Yeah.
whole board is on this one.
Yeah.
I don't know how I missed it.
So maybe we
I'll
just need to resend.
Yeah, maybe we need to resend.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Alex isn't on it, but he's new, so.
We should resend all of them, yeah. Because that way Alex knows to acquire, to accept them. Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. We're working on securing new security staff uniforms as well as uniform shirts for custodians, ensuring that all student supplies are available on the first day of school. And then as faculty and staff return, the team is readily available for all questions that may arise. So, as someone who recently had an issue with my paycheck, her team was very helpful. In terms of human resources, we have several vacancies that still exist. Our art teacher position that recently came available. We have a special education long-term substitute position available. The Kelly and Turner building substitute positions are available, and the pre-K lunch aide position is available. So just recently, especially for the pre-K lunch aid, I was thinking a good place for recruitment would be out on Thursdays over here, so maybe we could set up a table and just see, but I know Cindy has been posting on Indeed. We coordinated with, and our members now of Tri-State, which is out of Pitt, and a lot of school districts in the area use them, and a lot of educators know to check that website. So we're now members of that group, and so we're advertising there as well as pay educators. So we've got lots of things out, feelers out, and Lydia reactivated our LinkedIn, so there it was posted. The art teacher position specifically was posted there. So hopefully we get some traction on it. But the other work that they've done in order to ensure readiness for the school is looking at the time off accruals, making sure that they're correct and available for employees, because that is something that Cindy is doing by hand, verifying that days are correct. So she spends a lot of time doing that. We had a successful audit by ASHIC this summer, really important because of the cost of healthcare to the district. And so managing and verifying that dependents that are listed are actually, we have the documents to prove that they are dependents of the employees. So I think that there were maybe only 2 instances where we needed documents, and I think the team immediately got on that and got one from one person, and I think somebody else was out of the country. So we were waiting for them to get back to get theirs. Ensuring that benefits start and terminate for employees as they are starting and leaving the district, so that there is no overlap of what we are paying on behalf of someone who no longer works here. And then in addition to that, redoing and restructuring the organizational chart to reflect a more accurate reporting structure. So those are all things that we have worked on in the Human Resources Department. In terms of special education readiness, there have been several key things. First, securing placements for students who may need that as dictated through the reevaluation process. We met with the special education faculty to collaborate on their caseloads, review current student needs and information, and then to share their specific caseloads as well. And then the Director of Special Education and Special Services job description has been created and will be posted after board approval. For student services, our attendance meetings with families of students who are chronically absent have started this week. So our support team is in, and they are helping to lead the charge on those meetings, which are really important for reestablishing the necessity and importance of attendance. So we're really thankful to them for coming in. We will have the CPI training, particularly for the de-escalation component. Every faculty member will have that. So there will be some virtual options for that, as well as the full CPI training as well, which will be in person by our faculty that are trained to facilitate that. I think I mentioned a little bit earlier, we have MTSS and attendance handbooks as part of the work that the administrative team has done. So being very clear about what is expected of faculty members, what they should be doing, so that there is clarity around how we are responding to attendance concerns, how we are responding when we have academic concerns, behavioral concerns, or social emotional concerns for students. So we will be rolling those out during in-service. The administrative team, particularly the building principals, they've worked really hard on that. So I'm thankful to their leadership for that. And then, we talked a little bit about this, I think, at our board retreat, but our SEL program for Tier 1 did not exist. And so I think that there was maybe a resource, I can't remember, AIMS, was it called AIMS?
AIMS and zones of regulation.
And zones of regulation. And so when we look at the Castle Wheel, which is, an internationally recognized way of thinking about social and emotional learning, there's multiple components. And when we're looking at AIMS and zones of regulation, maybe that's only focusing on 2 or 3 out of the 5. And so we really wanted to find something that was more holistic to give the children, but also the teachers language of instruction and redirection for all of those skills. So second step is something that I've used in previous districts. We use it at the tier 1 level. It's really easy to implement. And with everyone teaching the children, then it's really easy to reinforce those skills. So that is something that we will be looking to purchase during our next meeting. So we don't have a quote to consider today, but I will share that out with the board as soon as I have that. And then in terms of technology readiness, Jermaine has done a lot of work with Infinite Campus, reconfiguring after they've done a lot of work on their end with their site migration. He worked to implement Google single sign-on for staff and faculty to make that easier access for them. And then, as many of you know, we deployed a parent portal this year. We're really excited about that. And he has also configured a reminder message to go out to any families every Monday if they have not signed up for it yet. So lots of really good things in that parent portal. It really allows us to communicate more easily with families. It allows the teachers to streamline their communication and eliminate the need for sending tons of flyers and papers home if it's all there, and then families have a record as well of all the things that we've sent home. And it also, I didn't know this, but it acts as a contact in the Raptor system once families upload their information, so they're always in there, and it'll make it easier to print out those badges when they come to visit or volunteer. Isn't that amazing? So as of right now, we have 20% of all of our families signed up, and hoping to get closer to 50 before school starts, once we send out that newsletter, and then closer to 80 once we're in the mix. Yeah.
So that's that parent app, correct?
Yes.
So I signed up for that, and I was wondering, because I'm new to Turner, so I was wondering, like, I wonder what the hours are for Turner and how different they are from Kelly. But when I went in there and clicked on Turner, it goes to a white page, doesn't let me back out. I don't know if they know that. So I had to exit out of the app, and then I waited and I came back into it a little later. And then when I clicked on Turner Intermediate again, it took me to a white, you know, the page was all white, it was blank, and then there's no way to back out of it. You just have to exit the app again and give it some time.
I think
before.
potentially a way to
Go back.
provide feedback for users directly to Jermaine would be very helpful. So
Yeah.
that people can say, this is the experience that I'm having with this. Because
Everybody
that way,
knows the
Felicia
hours
could
for
report it, and then Jermaine could determine whether or not that's an issue, right? Like,
Yep,
is that
absolutely.
an issue that we resolve? Because I noticed too, because I have one at Kelly and one at Turner,
Yeah.
when I created mine, they are each set up slightly differently because it looks like, it's building based. What information is in, what information isn't in yet, and those kinds of things. And I haven't checked it since I signed up last week. So I could see a parent being like, well, how come I don't have this tab for my student at Kelly, but I do at Turner, or vice versa?
I was just hoping to find, like, if I clicked on Turner, does anybody know that I was for Turner? I'm just trying to.
What do you mean?
Like, what's the hours?
Same hours.
That's the same hours?
Same hours.
I mean, I don't know.
There's zero difference between the buildings, which is what's very nice about this district. I don't have to get him up 15 minutes earlier than her and get him on up, yeah. So,
Well, you said that like I should know.
No, sorry. I mean, I'm just like, it's great here. This is one of those. I love our start times. Like,
Okay, it's good to know. I didn't know.
You don't gotta switch it up. Say it again.
Yeah, typically when you go from one building to another building,
right, as the grade levels go up, they
Right.
usually say, oh, we're gonna start 15 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
Not here, no.
Okay, cool, man. That's all I wanted to know, man, today.
No, that's important to communicate to families. That's clearly something that was missing in the communication to you.
Well, it'll be in the newsletter tomorrow. Your ears must have been burning.
No, I heard you guys talking. I'm listening.
Yeah.
So I figured I could answer any
Okay.
questions if you needed for the parent portal.
Okay.
But
I think
yes.
this is some troubleshooting.
Okay.
So maybe if we had a troubleshooting app, looking for.
Well, whenever the messages goes out for what do you call it?
For sign up.
For sign up, my email is included, and I did get some emails from parents
Okay.
on that. Specific to you clicking on the link, I had assumed that was an issue with Infinite Campus doing their migration.
Yeah.
We had configured the portal before their migration. So I assumed that that was something that was pointing to our new site and it wasn't set up yet. So I'll have to reach out to them for that. However, it just really takes you back to the homepage of the app. So that's not really a very useful link anyway. The useful things that happen is when you initially sign into the app, you'll have an icon for your child. Unfortunately, the migration removed all the photos, so I'll have to re-upload those. But yeah, it's a work in progress. We just got it launched, so if you're a parent and you have feedback, you feel free to email me.
I will.
And then if we have to reach out to Infinite Campus to correct anything, I had to reach out to them yesterday because the app on iPhone wasn't working at all, and within maybe like an hour, they fixed it. So.
Thank you, Jermaine.
I was just about to say, I don't know if it's me, but I'm getting an error message. I just wanted to see, like, can I log in? And it's just, yeah, this is what I'm showing.
Where are you logging in from?
I'm just trying to get to the website.
Okay, go to our website and click on Parent Login.
Oh, is it? I was going to ask, it's on our website?
Yeah.
Because they have a
Yeah, so under quick links, it'll say campus parent, campus staff, you're the campus parent. Lydia is also sending all of this information out in a parent newsletter, who to contact if you have issues, where to go to sign in. Because we launched the parent portal, we didn't know that they were going to change all the links immediately after we launched the portal. So, we kind of have to adjust for that. They just kind of arbitrarily said, "Hey, we're gonna update all our stuff. We're gonna move your site," and now we have to deal with it. Infinite Campus, yes.
Yeah, so really, Infinite Campus, that was a lot of work that Jermaine and Principal Summer, like they all worked really hard to get that off the ground. So thank you to you all for that hard work. It is going to be a difference maker for our families, and it's something that, the administrative team in conversations have wanted to do for the last couple of years. So I'm happy that we were able to just get it done. Chromebooks are going to be redistributed. They are in the process of that, I think, right now. And students that were already existing, they will have them in their homerooms ready to go. But any new students coming in will have to go through the school secretary to get those devices. And then in terms of Kelly Primary and the specific networking that's happening there, Jermaine has a meeting on Thursday to talk with 10 just about planning and what needs to take place, and that smart boards have also already been installed, so that's great. Lastly, in terms of transportation readiness, all of our bus routes are completed for the 3 schools, Turner, Kelly, and Westinghouse, and the bus information has been sent out to families. Routes have been sent to school staff and AJ Myers. There are 3 buses for Kelly, 3 for Turner, and 4 for Westinghouse. We are planning for bus monitors for Kelly and Turner as we did last year, and the special education vans for students whose IEPs designate that they need those are ready as well. And in fact, some of those routes for outside placements have already begun. So, overall transportation, we're ready to go. Diane does an amazing job with that. And just lastly, thank you. I've been in the district, I think this is the middle of my 6th week. And I feel like, we've really accomplished a lot. And we've got a lot of things done and some great work on the horizon. So
Is that your admin retreat?
it is, the pictures from our admin retreat, right before we all went on a hike led by Beth Ann through Frick Park. Luckily, she saved me because I had my Google Maps up and I was getting ready to lead us into the wilderness. And I was like, oh, I used to run this. And I was like, oh, really? Okay, great. Because all I do is take family photos here. So she had us down and we were sweating and everybody was so great. We found out that one of our administrators is afraid of animals, and I thought she was joking. And when she said that, and then I was like, so you're afraid of that deer right there? And she was like, oh, right, my bad, I'm sorry. So, it was a really great time, so I'm happy we were able to capture that in the area. And then, the picture of the students at the top was from their summer, musical camp that they just had.
Yeah.
And, the picture of the kids eating lunch was just one I took off Facebook. Because I needed another picture.
That's
awesome. They look so cute.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, thank you. So that's that's my update today. Any questions?
You just,
I mean, we could, but
that was great. Thank you.
thoughts more than
Thank
questions.
you.
I'd say. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
That is what we've been looking for in terms of a thorough superintendent update, and we appreciate that very much. It's a great beginning of school overview of how you got us ready to get started, so thank you. We're gonna move into our committee reports. There is a Kelly renovation ad hoc committee report. I don't know if you.
We didn't do one because we just had the walkthrough. We have Bill. I mean, I don't know.
Okay,
I mean,
that works for me. I was gonna say, since there's nothing attached, I'm gonna kind of.
No,
Yeah.
sorry.
The safety and security committee report, Tim.
You can find that in your executive
Beautiful.
council.
The finance committee happened this evening, and we will get that report next week, correct, Dennis?
Right.
Is there anything you wanted to say about that?
No, it just, I'm hoping, by the way, when all this construction is done, we'd still like to do a Hope Wallet thing. I mean, I think we really need a positive press, positive, promotion.
And open house would be great.
Yeah, and maybe it'll happen, when Halloween, I don't know.
Yeah, where's everyone's planning for a ribbon cutting?
Do a trick or
Yeah.
treat or something.
Hoping
Yeah.
it's not cold.
Trick or treat
Well,
at
that
school.
depends on-
Because it's really huge.
Oh, that would be nice, like the Halloween parade that the kids do and stuff.
Yeah, it's a huge project and it's really wonderful for the community, so.
Similar to Turner. Like I said, when we opened up the Turner building, it was really good to see the kids run in. Like I'll never forget it. A kid ran in and just like, you did this for us. And like it felt good that we got a chance to see our kids realize like we're investing in them. So yeah.
We'll get there.
We'll get something.
We'll get there.
great.
We'll get there. Okay, the personnel committee report. You can say it, Tash.
There you go.
It's actually our executive project.
But actually, we did go through some things that'll be on the agenda for tonight for voting purposes. And it's just a matter of rearranging some things and getting some staff and some staff that are maybe. So it's all, we voting on for tonight.
Tonight and next week.
Okay.
You're a special event. You're a team.
I know, yeah, that's why I was,
Okay, curriculum committee report. We did meet this month. We're a little bit in flux with the chair of that committee. I think you're gonna take it over next month, right? For the remainder?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
for curriculum. We did meet this month, and we discussed the after school program as well as the SEL program. We didn't quite get to that presentation, but we did talk about the after school program. And tonight, Summer is going to talk to us about the after school program. So I'll just let her do that when we get there, rather than try and fill in any gaps. And I'll answer any questions for you. Policy committee this month was canceled because there were no first read policies that we were going to go over. And we're gonna restructure the policy committee. I'm gonna say this now rather than when we get to the agenda items. So currently there's an agenda item on there to discuss what the second read policies are gonna be for this month. The policy committee is gonna be restructured to provide opportunity for feedback from the administrators. So we are gonna not have those second reads at our next month's next week's legislative meeting. We're delaying those till next month. So we can, any questions about that stuff, we can have maybe there too. Our joint ventures, I apologize for not writing anything up. Joint tax committee did meet in July. And there are two addresses that we did forgive, guys.
606.
One was Ella Street. Ella and
That's
Green.
409 and 606.
Is that the Green Street? Yeah.
Yes.
Green
I remember
Street.
the street name, I couldn't give you that
Ella,
house.
and it was the 409 and Green Street was 606.
And we approved both of those properties, and I apologize for not writing anything up. I will have something written up and attached for next week. I will have that to you by Friday. And it'll have those things in there. I I don't think there's anything exceptional about those properties.
No. Green Street is still part of the ongoing Green Street. We just got another one done, and we're working on getting another one done, and that's why we, that gives us.
There are 4 in total there. I drove by them today. They're
Did you?
gorgeous. They're listed on Zillow for $600,000.
Now, listen to what is listed on Zillow for $600,000.
That's why I said they should be gorgeous.
They are. I mean, they're
And
very
these, for
nice.
2 of them, we've approved a tax
Abatement. Yeah. And again, to
But
be
when they
clear,
sell,
abatement is for the current owner, right? So this is a tool that the developer uses so that when the property is reassessed, they are not paying taxes on a $600,000 property, right? So that gives them latitude and time to sell that property to someone. When that person buys that property, that abatement does not go with them. It is for the current owner. So I want to be clear about that. That's the design of this, so that you encourage development in your district, right? So that people then can say, I'm going to invest this money, and then I can have a return on my investment for this, and I'm not, yeah, just to be clear. I had some questions about that from some community members. Parks and Rec did not meet over the summer. Felicia and I did talk a little bit about who to follow up with to figure out when they'll be meeting again, and so we will reach out to Borough Council and find out where they're at with all that. Forbes Road East update, and again, I didn't write anything up for this. We did have a bond that they have issued for their updates. So rather than flub up what the details of that entails, like the amount, I will write it up and get it to you by Friday. Eastern area schools did not meet in July, so I do not have an update for them for a July meeting because there wasn't one. I do want to mention Forbes Road East, Alex will be taking that over. So starting this month, Alex will be our point person for that. I will stay on the Eastern area schools. The land bank, Ashley.
yes. So you'll see later on the agenda, we've got 2 rounds of properties to be acquired from our June and July meetings. I'm trying to get our months together because we're like,
It's August, right?
Yeah, it's August.
I don't even believe that. So.
So we've got the July properties that we voted on at our July meeting. And we also have acquired the titles for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 properties that we originally voted on August of last year. So I think that is a great example to show how long this process takes each time we're voting to acquire properties. So right now on our master spreadsheet, we have so far submitted for 61 properties. That's a lot. So once those properties are acquired, which of course are going to take, I guess the next round will be, we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in September. So just given that like number of how many properties are going to come on for being available to sell, we are in the process now of the homes that we do have the titles for to stabilize. So, that's making sure people, now that we've acquired them, can't get in, when folks just go in houses looking for pipes or copper, stuff like that. We have an RFP out for clean outs. So basically, when these homes are acquired, there's just a bunch of stuff. Really trying to watch my tongue because I was going to say a different word. So we are basically working on people will be contracted to come in, clean out. We will provide the dumpsters. So just in general, and if folks are listening, there's an RFP out. If you want to acquire the RFPs for clean outs of these properties, those steps are beginning to happen. We are still really narrowing in the acquisition policy piece, like what the buckets are for who will be able to purchase, because some of these properties, some will have to go to a contractor because they're not move-in ready. I think our first round, there's 2 that could potentially be ready for a direct sale for someone to move in, all 8 properties. We are contracting with a realtor, a woman who is gonna basically be our point of contact each time we have a property come in. I have these documents, and what I can do, I'll also share these with you. There's actually a folder. I'm gonna ask if I can just add you to this folder, Bethany. Just so when things are coming in, you can go, because these are all public documents.
Okay.
And I'll also, I guess it's a question for the board, do we want to keep track of some of these documents on our end with the land bank? So when we're doing RFPs or when we have a, once the acquisition policy is finalized, our contractor policy, like, would you all like to have that on our end as well? Or are we fine with just handling the process of properties that are sent for acquisition and then we're keeping track of them? And I'm open, I don't
I think it's nice to attach things to our agendas, because ideally, the public should be able to access our agendas easily. The land banks are very accessible as well, but it's nice because we are actually doing the voting, so sometimes people don't, sometimes they think of us first before they think of the land bank for the meetings, for the agendas, for the content. So I don't think it's duplicating anything to just attach them to our agendas, and then we can always say, look, there it is, there's the info,
Okay, so
Actually,
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, I'll send those out so we can get them attached before our.
I just was gonna ask how contractors were going to be selected.
So there's an application, they need to be, licensed, insured, trying to look, the contractor. But contractors will have to apply to this. It'll be very similar to Trap Hog. So we pulled the Trap Hog land bank contractor application process, and we're basically going to make that very similar for the Wilkinsburg contractor process, so that we will have all of the liability things covered when someone's coming in to fix up a house to sell it. That's also still, and it has not been voted on and approved, so it's not, it's not finalized. Yeah. I think just in general for the land bank, and I shared this in our finance meeting too, the vacant property recovery program, BPRP. In the past 3 months, we've come across 2 people who applied to do that, but those applications have not gone anywhere. So ultimately what that has shown us is that MBM is not in any way aware of what's happening in the county with that program. And there have been 2 properties that have been sent to us from MBM that are open for us to acquire. So we asked Beth Ann if we could reach out to MBM and ask them, do they even know, when they're making these decisions to no longer collect on these properties and send them over to the land bank, if they have a process of checking the BPRP. So far, both people that have come to the land bank see that the land bank process in this current moment is going to more than likely be a quicker process for them to go through acquiring it, if, for these houses that they would like. And so it's just, as we're building out the process for people to acquire properties, this is something that has come up that with MBM, who we pay, can be a little more, I guess, proactive on that process. So we don't have folks have applied for a house and then they learn, oh, the land bank has it. Is this, off the table? What does that look like? And what else was on the agenda? Just make sure I'm not forgetting any.
So are you saying that since you have
The land bank.
the houses that somebody else already started trying to acquire?
Well, no, it's just an application that's filled out for BPRP, but it's not going anywhere on the county side. So just because it's like anything, you fill out an application doesn't mean it's yours. And so that's the limbo area where people were just waiting, and then it's like, oh, it's on the land bank list. So it's a lack of communication on whose part. But if you ask me, I bet there is no process for there to be any kind of communication to even know. So that process has just been, had a light shine on it through the land bank properties. And people who applied apparently paying attention and showing up at the meeting saying, hey. So. But it's not technically their property, right?
Yeah.
So that's the gray area that we're gonna get. That'd be great.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
So that's the land bank, and again, Beth Ann, I'll get documents over to you all in this folder.
That's
Okay.
another helpful thing about planning is that it reminds us to turn our reports in to Beth Ann to attach here for those of us that share these things. For the PSBA liaison, Charmaine is not here, so I'll go ahead and give it. She did attach hers, which is great because then I can go ahead and give that report.
She is online, by the way.
Oh, hi, Charmaine. There were some things I wanted to highlight in here, so I was gonna go ahead and give it real quick, but if you want to do anything with it, after I'm done, I'll turn it over to you.
She's giving you a thumbs up.
Okay, great. So there are some items in here that revolve around a secretary's conference. That sounds promising. That sounds interesting. School board secretary's conference. And then the PSBA 2026 officer elections. The details are in here, Beth Ann.
Oh.
So there is a slate of candidates for the 2026 PSBA leadership positions. The voting will open tomorrow, and it continues through October 15th. I only received the slate of candidates today, so I will send you all the link to view those candidates, and I will see about adding them to this agenda so that even if you don't get them in your email, you can always come back here and look at them. With these leadership positions, we as a board have to come to consensus about who we're going to vote on. So as a board, we get one vote. So that means we have to review these applicants and then discuss them, and then we have to come to consensus for that. So what we've done in the past is we have a vote about that. I believe it's a unanimous vote that we need for this, and then Beth Ann will log our vote on their website. And again, we have plenty of time.
I was gonna say, how long is the vote?
October 15th is when it closes.
Oh.
So what we'll do is I'll go ahead and get these to you guys this week via email. I'll bring it up again next week to remind people to review those. And then we'll have it on our agenda for September to actually vote. So come prepared with having reviewed everybody for September to take a vote on who our consensus selection is. I don't, because I just got them at 4 o'clock today and haven't had a chance to even look at them. Yeah. So again, it's the leadership. I'm assuming it's president, vice president.
Did I see yes?
Secretary.
It's president-elect, vice president, central zone rep.
Right.
3
They'll probably get mail and regular mail from some of these people too, because they will
Probably.
solicit everybody when they're running for stuff.
There was another thing I saw on here. Oh, PSBA is seeking to fill a vacancy on the PIAA District 9 committee. Members interested in serving as the school board representative to their local PIAA District 9 committee. The term began on July 1st, 2025 and runs through June 30th, 2027. There's a link in here. It's a PDF, so we have to reach out to Charmaine for that link. Applications must be submitted online via the link above and will be accepted through Sunday, August 31st. So if we need more information about that, Charmaine, I'm going to point people to you. And then they also have several dates about events and programs that PSBA is putting on. There's that Building Bridges webinar series tomorrow that Lena had told us about when we had our retreat. The Alliance Partner Webinar Series, a bunch of things built into here. Start Strong is September 12th. I think Tim and Felicia had expressed some interest in maybe going to that.
Oh, Beth Ann was gonna go too.
Oh, Beth Ann and Felicia, that's right, that's what we came to, okay. Yeah, and some other items here. So again, if you have more particular questions about that, because again, the links don't work in that. If you need those links, reach out to Charmaine. Charmaine, did you have anything to add on that?
No, not at the moment. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you, Charmaine. Okay, our meeting minutes approval, will be next week. The minutes are attached here for you to review. If you have any questions or comments on those. You'll notice that there are 2 treasurer's reports. That's because there are 2 months worth there. So a copy of the treasurer's and committee chair reports for July 2025. Board action is requested to ratify and confirm the July 2025 cafeteria fund payments of $98,753.52. The general fund payments of $2,025,481.97. The wire transfers for $881,839.67. And the capital projects fund payments in the amount of $2,715,232.35. And the following report for July 2025 will be made a matter of record for the minutes. Those are attached there for July. The treasurer's report for August is also in here. Board action is requested to confirm the August 2025 cafeteria fund payment of $21,792.15. The expenditure payments of $60,142.85. The wire transfers for $498,279.59. And capital project payments of $4,561,162. And the expenditures are low due to the budget impasse issue. The following reports for August 2025 will be made a matter of record for the minutes. Does anybody have any questions about those at this time? Okay. The next item are personnel items. We have the resignations, retirements, and new hires attached there. Any discussion around those items? Anybody need a minute to review? Okay. In that case, I'm going to go ahead and ask Summer to go ahead and come up for that NLA. Did you want to introduce her, or how did you want to? We're trying to. Or is it okay if we just bring her up?
Yeah, just you can hear that.
All right, come on up.
Okay, attached is the after-school program proposal for this upcoming school year. The funding source that will help to supplement the program is the same this year. Kelly Primary is the 21st Century grant that we have secured for the 5 years when we went through that grant process about 1.5 years ago. Turner is county funding. Currently, we're looking at the same reimbursement for $17 per hour and the $15 per hour. $17 is for the coordinator, $15 is for the staff. And I just thought that 5 years, securing that for that 5 years, I think I have that backwards. But we did secure, but then we have the issue of possibly only being funding through February. I'll talk about that a little bit later at Kelly. Due to some cuts in some areas, but NLA is working to advocate to get that funding for the rest of the year. So they would like to start the Turner program on September 8th. And so we are ready to go and have a flyer that was attached, that's going to be attached to the newsletter that's being sent out to families so they can start registering online. Also in that registration, there is going to be a Google form for the purpose of helping for some of the tracking purposes we need to for reports that we need for food service, but also to gauge what would happen if you didn't have after school. And so there's some questions in there that we're going to use as we work with NLA to seek some more funding and to be able to continue to have a program the whole school year. So those are ready to go. Due to the funding source at Kelly, that program would not start until September 22nd. And that program is currently funded to be supplemented through the end of February. Now, Kashif and NLA has been working to advocate to receive funding to support the program the rest of the year. And I'll explain that if for some reason he's not able, to get that funding, what that cost would be for us to sustain it from March until May. So we are again looking at the same structure of the program, 3:30 to 6:30. There'll be a coordinator in each building, looking at having 50 students in both buildings, really focusing on advocating with families that if they're not attending regularly, that we may fill their slot with somebody else, because some people sign up, they come, and they're just not attending as frequent as they should be, which then we're putting out money for a staff member to have a group of 12 students, and they may not. Again, looking at STEM activities, homework help, virtual field trips. Our new physical education teacher has a great proposal for 2 days a week on how students can rotate through him. So he would be included in one of those staff members if he chooses to sign up, but really strengthening the physical aspect of not just gross motor in the gym or outside. So excited about that also. And so it's broken down depending on the start date. And so if you look at this first page that is attached, Kelly program starts on September 22nd. We all know with budget cost and, looking at our expenses that we have had up until this point, where depending on what position you held within the district, depend on what your hourly wage was. And so we had to make some adjustments to that this year to be able to sustain this program. The coordinator does a lot of work around registration, making sure the program is running smoothly, providing lessons, really structuring that after school piece to kind of pull all that together. So that position will still hold an hourly rate at $35, but anyone that's considered a staff, doesn't matter what position you currently have during the day, as you sign up to be a staff, as NLA would hire you, you would have the compensation of $25 an hour. So the district ends up paying the difference of that at when we get reimbursed from the grant, we would then put out $18 an hour for the coordinator and $10 an hour for the staff member due to the grant funding that we have. So I have that broken down, and it's highlighted in green what our district cost would be to run the Kelly program. Now that is the cost with NLA supporting it through the end of May. If we lost that funding at the end of February, we're looking at around, if I did my calculations right, just an estimate around $7,000 we would need to, that would be our district cost, that NLA would not be paying for those 12 weeks. But Bethany and I can work that out. For the Turner program, our out-of-pocket cost is highlighted in green after we get reimbursement for both the coordinator and the 5 staff that work the program. What is unique with our program is we may not have a consistent 5 people every day. A lot of them, do 2 days, and then we pair them up with another 2 day, like a 2-day staff member. So we're very flexible with who signs up, so we're able to fill the staffing positions. We do provide busing that is not covered by the grant. It's $190 a day for busing. So that cost is there. To be able to provide a bus with us having students that live on the other side of town, it'd be around $25,000. There's no cost for dinner or snack. Diane does complete the after-school dinner and snack program, and we make sure we complete any trainings that we need to so we can get that funding. So all students will have dinner and snack, and that's all reimbursed through that grant. And then we do have security guards work the after-school program. So that would, with keeping 2 security guards, that would have them at an overtime rate if they're working their full-time hours throughout the week. So that's listed there. So it's broken down at the end of what the total cost, the total staffing cost is, minus NLA's reimbursement. So for us to have just staffing for the after-school program, it's around 55,000, so 54,810. And then when you add in when you add in busing and security, that takes the total program up to $108,444.24. I did add a breakdown on the very end, so you can see busing, security guards, district costs for staff. That's after we get reimbursement from NLA. That's what the cost would be to have an after-school program for 12 hours. It's 12 hours a week, Monday through Thursday. I submit monthly reports to NLA of our payroll, and then they send us a check, and the business office puts that back into the funding source.
This is a great breakout of showing us the total cost for this program to the district, and I think it's very helpful in framing like our conversations around what this program provides to our community, and like, you know, showing exactly what the costs are coming to our budget, and not just like what NLA is providing to, because that grant is really significant. It's really great that we get that grant, but it also shows the very real cost that we incur to run the program. Sure. And I know some people have participated in it, right?
Yeah, my daughter goes to after school program and she loves it. I mean, it's been great for my family, and she's able to get her homework done. She's fed. She plays with her friends. It's a little extension of school, so yeah, I can't speak highly enough of the after school program and keeping it and making sure we get it filled with as many students as possible. Yeah, it's amazing to have.
Great. Yeah, the staff that has been a part of it do a great job. The coordinators, we have some staff that has been doing it every single year. The coordinator at Turner, she's been doing it since I think Ms. Gardaki has stopped doing it. And, you know, we've had a couple staff turnovers at Kelly, but the coordinators in both buildings have done an amazing job to make sure that we're meeting requirements, but also meeting the needs. So it's very different what they need at Kelly than at Turner, especially it becomes a long day. But the partners that we've had come in from the STEM coding labs to Common Threads, and then have that extension through the summer has been great. I think if we do the map, move to the map assessment, that's going to really identify even more what we can do in the after school program, both for remediation and enrichment. So I'm excited if we move forward with that. That will be something that will be very easy for the coordinators and myself to say, here, this is what this group of students needs. So we appreciate us, you know, considering to continue to do this, because I think the kids really enjoy it. And it's helpful for parents.
It is. And just to reiterate kind of what you were saying, you know, that Kashif and his team at NLA are really trying to make sure that they get grant funding from February to May, but in the event that they can't cover it, the contribution that the district will be putting up is an additional, you said 10,000, I think you said.
Seven. She said seven.
Yeah,
7
so
to
I think,
10.
You know,
Yeah.
and it just depends on when that date would stop, but it wouldn't exceed like an additional $10,000 to sustain it through the end.
Right, and we're looking at a very narrow place where we would be expending that money. That is that line, when you bring that item up, it's the district cost, staffing cost right there, that 54,810. That's what we're looking at, because the busing, the security guards are already.
That's all gonna stay the
accounted
same.
at the end of the year.
Right.
And it is just Kelly, right? So
Right.
that's why it looks like a much smaller number than what that total district cost, staffing cost would be, because it would be only Kelly and only for those 12 weeks. So, yeah. And then you guys will be able to bring that to us if that's needed. Do we have a timeline on when that would be? If we need to fund it?
I mean, I think we would know before the start of the new year.
Okay.
You know, with gauging all of our current
2026.
enrollments and doing both there's like a ProCare enrollment, and then we did a Google form, which will have access to that spreadsheet. Those specific questions will say, how does it affect your job if you're not able to have after school? So, he's been already constantly talking to other groups that can
So I
try
think
to
from a
sustain
board
that.
perspective, we're gonna want to vote on this in November if we need to fund it through, because the funding would go out in February, because we want to know.
Will they be notified by November?
I can follow up and see where he thinks like the timeline, where that would be. You know, he's very optimistic that it will continue and stay. If I know Kashif, he will.
I was gonna say, 'cause,
They're
you
not
know-
gonna have a meeting in December, it might have to wait
Yeah.
till January.
that's what I was trying to think of. I was trying to think of if we approve it in November, then we'd have time, but we do have January and we
Yeah,
could.
because
Yes,
they
'cause
might-
I
they might
believe the
not know
funding
yet,
will
and they'll-
include
And they'll
February.
have-
It will go through February.
It does
So
go
even
through
if-
February.
Even if they were in a limbo state, if we approved something and then they got their grant, we still wouldn't have to spend that money we approved.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can, based
Yeah.
on grants, approve or whatever,
Yeah.
correct?
So it wouldn't be like we were just giving them an extra 7,000. So we'll have to review in November and see where
Yeah,
we're
where they're
at.
at, yeah.
Yeah.
And we can review that in committee.
Yeah.
Too. And he's, you know, we're communicating back and forth how that's going. And I think once we see the surveys that are included in the enrollment, that will help to get the ball rolling to get that funding.
And when are those surveys going out?
So in the parents district newsletter, it is linked in there to click on the flyer. And it's just the flyer where you can click on the QR code and register your children for the after school program. And within that registration, those questions will be asked. Okay? So those newsletters are going out tomorrow. And then I didn't want to put it on social media until it went out in the newsletter. So as soon as it's out in the newsletter and linked, she'll also be putting the flyer on social media.
Only be a QR code, and is it the flyer that's going out as a digital flyer, right? Is that going like into our email? Or is that coming in the-
Yeah, just so you know, yeah.
Because, and I'm asking that because like when you email a QR code, you can't
Click on it. So
So
there is,
there would be a. is
there's
there a
also a hyperlink in
That's what I
there,
was gonna ask.
but it's gonna be a part of the newsletter, which is gonna be very new for everybody. That will, it's great. I'm so excited about this
Is it
newsletter.
email or is it
But-
paper?
The newsletter,
Yeah.
it's email. Yeah, it's email.
Yeah, and so-
And the reason that we wanted to do that is so that
And I'm sorry
there's an
about that.
equal opportunity for everybody in the district to get the newsletter and get the access to the application. Because if you're only posting on social media, some people might get it before others.
Mhm.
So if we're sending it out first as the district and everybody is getting
Doing that
it.
robo text message, hey,
Yes,
check
yes.
for your,
Check your the
Yes.
district newsletter.
Yes, yes.
Hot off the presses.
Really hoping that families, I know at Turner, they've gotten a couple calls like, I got this text, but I didn't get an email. Oh, well then we must not have your email.
Yeah, that's what I was
So-
about to say.
Great.
Yeah, because I
Um,
spoke with a parent who normally gets text messages, but she didn't get either, so told her to just call the office and make sure her stuff is
Yes.
updated. But it's making me think, and again, time and capacity, but do we just wait for someone to recognize they're not getting it, or is there a way we can be like reviewing, like, are there families that we don't have?
Yeah, now typically that kind of review does happen late September, early October, as we're trying to make sure that everybody's emergency contact information is in there, we have their emails. So in my past experience, the school secretaries typically do that after the dust settles on the school year.
Got it.
And so that's something that we can absolutely talk about, for sure, you know, and then I think I have seen in some of the reports that we get back from Blackboard after an email is out that people have opted out of text messages or have opted out of certain things. So, you know, as part of the communications audit, Lydia and the team at the AIU are really coming up with a flow chart of what do we text versus what are we emailing versus what are we posting on socials, so that it is very clear. Right, exactly, or sending home on the Thursday folders, you know, like those types of things, because if we are inundating people with things, especially on your cell phone, and it's not important, then you're not gonna look at it, right? It's gonna be desensitized to it. And so we wanna make sure that the things that we're sending in text and in email are the things that are most important.
Well, we didn't know how to robocall around here.
I know, because I started getting robocalls, and I was like, don't robocall about a t-shirt.
Well, and that has been like past practice is everything is sent by text, email, and phone call, but definitely a text message, because that's the feedback we get that they like. But then are you looking at it and really clicking on it? So
And so Lydia also
Um,
said, like, on the newsletter, method that she is using, we will be able to see open rates and,
Yeah, that's
we'll be able to kind of track to see how many people are using it, like that kind of thing. So she will still send out a text that says like, hey, check your email, this month's newsletter is available and it contains back school information and all these things. So that will come out.
In the letter that everyone should be getting, some of them were taken to the post office today. I know some will be taken tomorrow that has students homeroom in very bold print from the principals. It says like, please make sure your phone number and address, email is updated and, reach out to the secretary because we are going to be sending things like newsletters and information through email. So that is on that letter as well.
So the newsletter, not getting the email information from the student portal or the parent portal, they goes on top.
I mean, if the newsletters were little, that'd be
They
nice.
do talk.
They will be in the portal. We'll be able to upload it afterwards. So we're gonna email it out first. The student information system does pull like phone numbers and email addresses from there, but it's like your access to the portal is different than you having checked off emails, phone communication, like that kind of thing. But we can put the newsletter in the parent portal, so it'll get dropped there eventually. It'll get linked on the district website, and we can kind of archive it there as well. So there will be multiple ways for folks to access it. With just that initial burst of information is going to be email and then text, check your email.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, the policy committee, the proposed policy review, revision, adoption, and retirement. These policies listed here, there are no first read policies this month. There are many second read policies. And again, we have identified that gap in the structure of our policy committee that the administrators were not in the loop, right? Their feedback was not being provided to that policy committee. So we're gonna delay this second read until we know that they've been able to, the vote on this second read to next month, until we know that they've been able to review these things, because this is really where our governance is most heavy. Policy is us, right? We are doing these policies and crafting a district that we want to see, but it doesn't happen unless the administrators are actually able to follow through with these policy changes, right? So making sure that they have the time they need to go ahead and review them, that they're going to be able to implement those things, that they have no questions, that they've had an opportunity to provide their feedback to this committee is really integral to making sure that the policies get implemented in the ways that we intend them to be. Are there any questions about that?
Yeah, are they included when you set up the agenda for policy?
The administrators.
I don't think they were in the past. So that's part of the way we want to change that, right? So they're going to be, their feedback will be.
Yeah, so Felicia and I are gonna work on an official procedure, but the way that it has been, I've done in the past, and been a part of is, the superintendent works with the administrative team, we work through, the different policies. What are we currently doing in practice? How does that align with what this policy says, with the vision of the policy, where the important changes? And like, how do we either incorporate what we're doing, or how do we change our practice to align with this policy? And if there's any tension or incongruence, we address it there, so then it can come to the policy meeting and be like, hey, this is in conversation with the administrative team, here's what we're seeing, here's some of the problems, here's some of the issues, and then we can work through that, so that then when we give you all the drafts, it's been seen by all the administrators plus the policy committee, and it's gone through, multiple steps, sometimes pulling in Matt if necessary, and his team and getting his eyes on it. So, that all of those components are taken care of in court.
Any questions about how we're restructuring that? Okay. The June Wilkinsburg Land Bank proposed property acquisitions, dispositions. Those are from June again, and they are attached here. We also did discuss them in finance. Are there any questions, any discussion regarding this item? Does anybody need a minute before they have any discussion about that item? I don't want to go by it too fast. And the next item is also the July land bank, proposed property acquisitions. Again, they did come up and come through finance earlier this evening. Any discussion? Okay. The renewal of Maureen Ryan, she is the consultant, the grant writing consultant. She was able to bring in, was it 2 million? It's more than 2 million.
2.5.
$2.5 million for us. This item would provide, it would be a contract for her for a full year. And then it would be a not to exceed amount of $15,000 over the course of that year at an hourly rate of $150. And that also came from finance, the actual action item. Oh, she is more than paid for herself.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, right. And it's been so nice to have her on, yeah. Any questions, comments, concerns about that? The Kelly renovation CEC drilling samples, the additional services that are listed here. This came through finance tonight and is one of those items that we asked you to stick around for, Bill. Did you want to introduce this one since it came through finance, Bethany?
Sure. Currently, the board had approved $10,500 at the beginning of this process, and we are now at close to over 19,000. I've been working with Bill, and he's been trying to get us a not to exceed number that I can bring to the board to get it approved. This is critical for the project, correct? I mean, it's not negotiable. Like, we have to pay for this. Can you just talk about the drillings a little bit and how that process has changed and moved?
So CEC functions as the owner's inspector. So every project has requirements that at certain points in time, there's a third-party inspector unrelated to the contractor that tests steel joints, the compaction on any earth moving, backfilling of foundations. So you've got a set of drawings. CEC reviewed those drawings along with another third party, with PSI maybe, and they both provided proposals. Those proposals were based on where they estimated typical inspection periods would occur. A lot of it is guesswork based on the set of drawings. In the case of Kelly, you had a number of events occur that were not anticipated under those plans. It started with the contaminated material. Immediately when we started excavating, they found material that had to be stockpiled, tested. CEC was part of that review. The next was the water. And again, CEC was part of, along with other consultants, to address how you'd mitigate the water and what's the impact to the structure. The next piece of the issue was sandy soils that wasn't anticipated. So that ultimately the foundation layout had to be modified. Every one of those steps, CEC was there testing on behalf of the owner to make sure that the revised plans were processed as drawn. So, you can look at this and say, well, we should have guessed better on what that would be, but it is an element of the things we encountered, but ultimately they did a service that you're going to look back on and say, yeah, we did it right. And their reporting was critical to allow the contractor to proceed through their steps.
At what point is their role completed in this?
It is very close. In fact, I got an email today. You could elect to test the compaction on the parking lot,
Okay.
along with the concrete that's being installed. I personally think it's overkill.
Right.
I asked Mike to go back on the drawings to make sure that it wasn't called out by the civil engineer. I don't want to, run against a drawing which called for it. So I haven't confirmed that, but right now they're on standby.
And the only
So it's
reason
one
why,
more test.
okay, because the only reason why I ask is we have 2 months worth of those invoices, and I just want to know, like, are we going to be seeing, continual accrued costs for the remainder months? Or is this something that, like,
This is it.
okay,
There are no more, the addition is basically finished relative to the construction of the structure. And all of the concrete has been poured other than the sidewalk adjacent to.
if there were
the curb.
not more, what do we think the amount would be that might come up?
Another $1,000 maybe.
Okay, so like just a rough estimate for our budgeting, so that we know what we're looking at. Like, we're not going up to $90,000. Right?
No.
Because at this point, we're spending 22.
We're at 19, so another 1,000 would be 20,008.
Okay.
What
So
was it budgeted for?
10,005.
10, yeah. So that's why we're trying to get an idea of like, yeah. Any other questions regarding this item?
There's photo proof of all the different things that they're saying needs corrected before they just.
There's nothing correct. They're calling out
Or
for those
testing.
corrections.
Okay.
They're all of the tests have been documented.
Okay.
There is a log, it is in Procore showing every one of those tests that were performed, the results of them. And then ultimately, the tests come through, they're evaluated and the process continues.
So like for the testing, so they come out and they take a sample of the soil. I'm just trying to understand the process. They come out to Kelly, they see the soil, take a sample, take it back somewhere and run a test on it.
Correct.
So when it says here that the quantity is 24 at a rate of $50, so that's per hour, because it doesn't take 50 hours to collect a sample. So is that 50 hours to run that test? Are you paying by the hour to run the test? How is that?
I don't know what invoice is being shown, but you are
I'm looking
you're
at
paying an
the,
hourly rate for a specific test.
so for the test to run,
To
actually run,
correct. You're
not for an individual.
Correct. These are,
This is what you're looking at, Felicia?
yeah.
I'm looking at 717740009. Is that what that is?
Yes, that is.
Yeah, that's what-
So they were there, there was a total of 24 hours at a $50 rate for that
Yes.
concrete technician to work on whatever test the sampling was taken for that specific event. Another one, the structural steel visualization, 4 hours. So they were there inspecting any joints, connections, weld joints, tightening of any of the bolts to bring it all together. There was a third-party eye on those different connections.
Now this invoice here, have we gotten the results back from the testing?
And there's results that follow those tests that greenlight or approve whatever samples or inspections occurred at that point in time. So there are those concrete tests, they're regularly emailing back through the contractor approvals for whatever concrete was poured, that pour met the test.
So and then they're charging by the hour for their physical time to collect the sample, but what's the sample pickup charge? So if they're, I found this to be confusing when I was reading all of it because because they're picking it up, they're charged, that's an extra fee itself. Like I collected the sample, but then I'm charging you $40 because I'm picking it up and taking it back
Some
there.
of those pickups and charges go to a third party that
Yeah, they might
ultimately transports.
they might contain it, but then they call in Little Willie
Yeah.
to come and take it to
And just for an example of why this doesn't look crazy to me, in health insurance, do you know there's a charge for them to actually stick the needle in your arm?
Oh, yeah.
So it's just, I mean, it's very similar, it's just not a body.
It's all a card.
I think these are important questions to ask too.
Yeah.
And I think that it's also, I think, in just the broad scope, because we are, you know, we're tasked with approving these, right? Is just to kind of have an idea of like, since it has nearly doubled, kind of where our finish line might be, right? And that's what I'm trying to ask about, like, time, because time is money, right? And what the scope of what they have left to do is, do they have equivalently scoped tasks to do to what these invoices are, or?
No, it's
Okay.
down to basic concrete testing, so it's more of that concrete technician,
Okay,
you know, for a couple hours to take samples if in fact it's required under the civil drawings.
so
to test.
conceivably, we could have maybe another $1,500 to $3,000? No?
$1,000. If you went to one of the more current invoices, this had to be an older one.
Yeah, I think they're 2 months, yeah.
I have another question. How did you determine, is this like somebody you partnered with, right? Is this the only company that does this
No,
type of
there are a
testing, or-
handful of companies that do it. They all price the same.
No, I mean, I'm
You
just
know,
asking.
it's all the
I'm just
same.
asking.
You know, but CEC typically is a very efficient operator, and you know, they work as a team with the contractor. So they're good owners, an inspector, but they also, the contractors know them. So there is more of a cohesiveness to the process. The last thing you want in an owner's inspector is he doesn't show when he's called, which happens sometimes with some of these other firms, or there isn't a relationship with the contractor on an ongoing basis that allows for, you know, just the inner workings. It is a seamless flow. You never want the inspector to delay the process. The CUC is a very well-known inspecting firm in the city. Been around for 50 years.
Are there other questions? Other comments?
No, I'll stop.
I think though it's important for you to ask questions. You know, you're
Sure.
charged with fiduciary responsibility, and so I think
I mean, because at this point, you can't go back and change it because it's already been done. Because
Yeah.
part of me is wondering, did the board have any role in any of that select? But it doesn't even matter at this point. So
We did, I mean, they came, I mean,
yeah, it doesn't even matter. Any of my questions are irrelevant at this point because they're non-productive, so I won't ask them.
I mean, you can always ask them.
But I'm not.
And you can always send an email too. Okay, so that's what we'll be tasked with approving. Next week, we'll be voting to approve those two that are attached there. The next agenda item is number 1, Kelly renovation mold remediation by Bristol Environmental. Attached there is mold 1. It's a letter from Tom Owen, or to Tom Owens, my apologies, July 25th, 2025, and it outlines that mold remediation. And again, I see a price of $9,800 and a 4-day schedule on that. Bill, did you want to speak to these
Well,
items?
first of all, this was uncovered when they removed some of the paneling down in with the future Spanish room. So it was absolutely necessary and one of those unknowns, very similar to what we've encountered on the asbestos abatement. But if I'm not mistaken, I think this is being managed inside of Ken's contract. I don't think I sent it over more for informational purposes.
So we're not approving.
I would not approve this.
Okay.
I think Ken has already paid it up through.
Okay, confirm that for us, and that is
I
great.
will, but it was more of informing you. This was
Okay.
encountered. This is how we're managing it. This is the first time we've encountered mold.
Gotcha.
We've
Because
encountered a
there's-
lot of asbestos, but this is the first mold of it.
Because the number 6 is also is the second mold remediation. They're separated out here, so there's 2 letters here, both dated from July 25th, That first amount I read, this second amount is $5,600 and for the 3-day schedule. So if you could confirm for us, I don't know if this is distinct from that mold or.
I'm 99% sure.
Because then this would have been, it came up as a change order somewhere.
Right.
Because it's additional money outside.
They have not, I want to point something out to you all, and this is so different from what you've experienced at Turner, is you have not seen a change order from 10.
Right.
You've seen amendments that baked in some of those changes on the addition, but 10 has had the ability to sort of manage it inside of some buckets that they're carrying. I still want to, I'm not promising you that's
Right.
going to be the end. When we hit end of October, we're going to be in this place, but it is a rare circumstance that we're not confronted with more change orders. And I will confirm this and how they're managing.
Any other questions regarding these items? Kind of read them together now. All right, number 7, the Special Education Watson Institute agreement is attached there. This will be for 2 students, I believe. If I'm wrong, please forgive me. Per student is $65. The cost per student is $65,219 per student. And that brings us to, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that math in my head. But it's 130,000. Thank you, Matt. And that will be on the agenda for next week.
Yes.
Bill, thank you so much.
Do you want Zola?
Oh, right, the floor tutor should be on there too.
It's not on there because I had it, we moved it, waiting,
It arrived
Sorry.
yesterday.
right, and it arrived yesterday, and we were gonna put it on for the 26th,
And so,
Okay.
and the 5,000.
right, so we
Right.
discussed it in finance.
Yes.
My apologies, because it's not on here, and I didn't mean to skip that. We discussed it in finance, Beth Ann asked in the finance committee how we wanted to handle that. I said, Beth Ann, we're discussing it in finance, we'll be able to discuss it. We'll be able to add it to the finance committee meeting minutes, and so I have no problem adding it to vote on next week. So if you wanted to give us a floor Tina, even though it's on item right here, I would appreciate that, yeah.
Yeah. So Flora Teeter's engagement was through conceptual, through construction drawings. A lot of you were involved in Zolna's work in planning the playgrounds, along with other landscape design throughout the site. What actually evolved was that the amount of work that it took to interface with the staff, the board, the committee, 10, and then ultimately the vendor who was supplying a lot of that equipment ate into their engagement. It was a fairly intensive process. I think at the end we're getting a fabulous result to those 2 playgrounds, along with a landscape plan that is sustainable. The plant selection is local. So I think you'll be pretty pleased with the site. At the end of the day, they ate into what was allocated for construction services. It originally came back and tried to restore all of it. We cut it back to half. We're really down to, and it's not to exceed number.
Right.
So hopefully it'll come in a little less. I see them being involved here into September and part of October.
So when you say the capital services, that was an amount we already approved,
You
right?
approved the 65
Yeah,
or 68,000.
Yes.
under-
and this is specific to their services.
Correct.
Right.
Specifically to construction admin.
Yeah.
So the installation that was planned by Mark Yepko.
So rather than, they were originally asking for 10,000, I think,
Mhm.
now it's down to 5. So that will be an item for voting next week. And again, we'll give some ample time for discussion around that since it's not on the agenda tonight, but.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have any questions for Bill while he's here? Okay, thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, back to Special Education Watson Institute. 2 students, for a full year, we have a not to exceed amount of $130,000, $440 roughly, $438. You don't have to show that. I mean,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if they're going to be protected. I don't think there is, but I appreciate it. I don't even know if there were any names in there.
Yeah.
If there were, it would be an executive though. So sorry, my brain's catching up to me. Yeah.
We waited
There
out
are
that
names on the agreement, they've just been.
they've been redacted.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any questions, comments regarding that? The next item is also special
Wait, I do
education.
have a question.
Oh, yes,
Or both of these kids, have they been in the district? They've done this last year.
So I'm
Or
not,
new to the district.
I don't,
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna discuss the names.
Right.
Whether they're new or whether they've been here, doesn't matter. These placements are based upon their needs.
And I'm aware of that. Did we do this last year? Were they here? That's why I'm asking, like, this would be the same cost as last year. That's why I'm asking.
I know, because I know we did have costs at the Watson last year.
Right, so that's why I'm asking these questions.
I don't know if these two children are the same children specifically.
Oh,
I
okay.
know that there are a couple of children that are in the process of being placed into different approved private schools. So it may be and it may not be.
Okay.
Ms. Masso was supposed to be here tonight to speak to these, but she was not able to attend.
Okay. Yeah, because the next one is the special ed HSAO agreement. This is our agreement with Human Services Administration Organization. Forgive me for
For
scanning
the
it.
student assistance program.
Yeah.
Right. And there's no fee for this.
There are no fees for
There's no fee for
This
this
is
part,
simply the agreement.
this app.
Yeah.
Right.
Any conversation, any discussion, any questions regarding HSAO? And then item number 9 is the Special Education IDEA 619 pass-through funds. And they are attached there to review. That's the AIU. Again, these are the pass-through funds.
These are for 619. So it's only about $2,000. We typically assign an AIDS expense for one of these students and get that money reimbursed from the AIU. So we just have to approve the acceptance of those funds to do that.
Any questions around this item? Item number 10 is Special Education Midday School. Again, the service agreement is attached there. Sorry, I don't have the number right off the top of my head.
Do we have one or two?
That I don't look like.
I don't know that either.
Did this one come through the finance? This one I don't remember, but so I apologize.
Do we have two?
Yeah, I'm looking for it right now. I apologize.
I don't.
It's a very end, Exhibit A.
Exhibit A. All right, there we go. So it's, based on prorated according per student enrollment date. There's a fixed fee of $73 per student. And then the occupational. And I believe that Jeanette said that for this contract, the majority of it is the a la carte that they charge for occupational therapy, $75 an hour, depending on the children's needs and what services they provide.
Any questions regarding this item? Okay, item number 11, the Special Education PA Connecting Communities Agreement. This also came through finance earlier today, correct?
Yes.
And we are asking, is there a cost with this one?
I don't know that there's a cost with this one. It's just the agreement so that if we were to need to send students there, we would have something in place. It's $80 per hour. Billable services include direct work with the students or family to address transition needs. PAC will bill 1/2 hour, 30 minutes each day. Service is provided for administrative work related to the student's case. So this is more of an hourly rate dependent upon students' needs.
And was this the agreement that we had some feedback from? This was not this one. Right?
No, Holy Family, or
Okay.
not, I think it was Holy Families that you made comments on, right? Matt?
I went through all these contracts.
Yeah, 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 okay.
Any questions regarding item number 11, PA Connected Communities?
We don't have any students participating in that program as of yet, but that's just in case we did.
Correct.
Correct.
Item number 12, Special Education Federal Programs, AIU Title III. The MOU is attached there.
So we get our Title III funds through the AIU, and so we need to complete this MOU so that they can go ahead and capture the funds for us and reimburse us. Title III was just released, so typically this is done earlier in the year, typically closer to June, end of May, June, but because Title III was on hold, it's been delayed, but that's why it's we're putting it on. They called out everybody and said, please get it on your agenda for August.
Any questions around this item? Item number 13, the Special Education Holy Family 2025-2026 agreement, and it is attached here. As Matt said, he's reviewed all of these, so.
These are daily rates ranging from $245 to $350. Depending on nothing of service.
Service needed.
At this time, do we have any students in this program?
I'm sorry.
Don't want to speak on that. I don't believe that we do. On the spreadsheet that I had reviewed, I didn't see any, but I know that what is happening right now is that is evolving.
Gotcha.
So we might have one this email says we're going to student in the census program.
Any other questions from board members regarding item number 13? Item number 14, Johnson Controls Safety Equipment Annual License and Maintenance Renewal. You'll see two attached there, one for Kelly, one for Turner. These did come through finance earlier this evening, and Beth Ann was able to report some really great news because the originals were what,
30,000 per machine for our safety equipment. And Harry worked diligently to whittle them down to 12,120 per machine. So we're coming in well under what one machine was supposed to cost. And this is just licensing and keeping the system, the update, doing any upgrades or updates to the technology. So it was ridiculous that they would charge us $30,000 for that for a machine that costs $80,000. I mean, that's just ridiculous. So yeah, but he worked really diligently and worked really, really hard to drive these guys down. And luckily they came through for us.
it looks like item number 14 and 15 are duplicates. I don't see any difference between them. Just got added.
Well, okay. One was for Kelly, one was for Johnson.
Got put on together.
Yeah.
The termination of the agreement for the sale of the high school, and then this will be on for voting for next week, and this just terminates that agreement. Those contingencies were not able to be met by the buyer. Are there any questions regarding this? Any discussion, comments from the board member?
There's the motion item.
Okay. Our resolutions and our voting section is next. That's section letter N. You guys ready to switch gears and vote? I feel like we should do some stretches. All right. Item number 1, board action is requested to approve the attached settlement agreement and release with Jeanette Masso.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion around this item?
Yes, I was on.
Mm-hmm. Charmaine, can you respond with your vote?
I know she said she couldn't hear well too. Charmaine, can you hear us?
Doreen, are you able to vote? We can say not present for her, right?
Mhm.
Is that?
Yep.
Yeah. Motion passes. The next item, adjudication. Board action is requested to approve the attached adjudication of professional employee. It is attached there. I need a motion.
So moved, actually.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Thank you.
She takes you back.
Hi, Charmaine.
We're gonna say not present. Vote. Motion passes. Sorry. Item number 3, job description, Director of Special Education and Special Services. Board action is requested to approve to create the position of Director of Special Education and Special Services. The job description is attached here. I need a motion.
I'll second.
Thank you, vote. Any discussion?
Charmaine is saying yes. I had actually said yes the last time, but I was saying it in the chat.
Oh, so sorry.
Oh,
Charmaine.
sorry.
Thank you for calling back on. I apologize.
Yes.
And yes, for this, Charmaine?
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Item number 4, board action is requested to approve to create the position of Coordinator of School Security, Safety, and Federal Programs. The job description is attached here. Need a motion
So moved.
and a second.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
Yes.
Jermaine, are you in the chat saying yes?
Sorry, yes. I was trying to get in the board docs. It's not letting me, so I'm just stay here.
That's a good idea. We only got one more vote. Motion passes. New hire school security guard. Board action is requested for the appointment of Thomas Clibbins as the school security guard at Turner Intermediate effective August 25th, 2025 at a rate of $20 per hour in accordance with the terms of the school security guard agreement and pending all required clearances. I need a motion
So moved.
and a second.
Second, actually.
Discussion?
Yes, from Charmaine.
Thank you.
Tanya's a yes.
Thank you.
How about for you guys? Ashley?
Yes.
Did
I
you?
don't know what
Okay.
happened to the box when I clicked it.
Okay.
Motion passes. There are no other items listed in O. There are no public comments on non-agenda items unless Graham wants to speak up. And then our board member comments. Any board member comments? I just want to say thank you all for being back in August. Yay! And this was a double meeting, so I appreciate your time this meeting. And we meet again next week. We do meet again next week, but double meeting tonight, 2 months worth. And then meeting adjournment. Board action requested to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
I don't guess I'm gonna so. She said she motioned.
Just lost your keys to the key.
Oh, yeah, because we had the, that was a special vote, so we did get the special vote.
Look at us, and we are still at 9:15. That's taking this hair out. Get my hair done tomorrow.
I'm so proud of us, guys.
Have a good night, Charmaine.
See you guys.
My neighbor.
He's so offended by my question.
He is affected by questions.
Like, I'm just asking a question. It was like he was it's like he was taking it personal.
Because it's
He
been
actually-
personal. It's been a rough day. Like, you had a rough day, he had a rough day. I'm telling you that.
I know you noticed this in the invoices, how they're all 3 hours, 2 hours, 4 hours. There's one that's 8.
Yeah, and I also noticed that there's a minimum by SAR to say 4. So no matter how much, so they can be there for 5 or 10